So let's set our motivation again. Our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the peerless state of enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings, while knowing that to attain such a lofty state, I need to have a good understanding of what the practices necessary are, and also to gain that understanding I need to be able to study correctly based on a perfect text or a perfect presentation, an unmistaken presentation. And so it is with this in mind that I am here this morning to listen to a brief explanation on the outlines of the great treatise of the stages of the path to enlightenment as composed by Lama Tsongkhapa. Shokran Gyatang Truktureku Top Truk Ki Trukbe.
Because sugar is data shows getting which I take water. Get with Garchasuna, don't need to be shared get with Chawasha. Don't need to be shared Carsona, not to the what do you to me to be about that to me the what do you Zata, get you got to me, get you Sawan and Mabacha Somato Rubato, to me Mutin you want to be your to me Mutin you want to do that, to me you. Someone never saw to make you watch to move to watch on how about you. The court like a never to make quite to make rashes. Casaco could to make rashes by Insa and that to make Madua in a mutual to make you want to get. It's a quite let how much machina. That gets a quite to make a Johnson, quite out as a Maripacho. That doesn't marry when you would damn to be shut up. Come doesn't marry what someone never so much to Vagina and doesn't marry but you okay. And lessa and moving a court to one. That is our doesn't marry by Mevoso, Dini but Dameto Vesherako. That date of Dameto Vesherako Gombala, Damedia, and the Chicasso de Nomola Besh, Chicago and Mevosovala, then it's a manner, Tomadua. Then the embassy thing is a Getchuchati, Getchuchati, that the name some and the Sheneko.
And so, as we have previously looked at this topic on meditative concentration, meditative stabilization, and in establishing how essential it is, specifically for the purpose of realizing emptiness directly. And so, why is that important? Because it is only that in realizing emptiness directly, that can uproot the very root itself of suffering in cyclic existence. And so here we have to understand, yes, that suffering is endemic, and it is ubiquitous, and also it is undesirable. And so we have to look into then what are if we don't get to the root of suffering, we will only have to continuously experience suffering again and again and again. As in cyclic existence, of course, is in the nature of suffering itself. So once here, we are inevitably going to meet with that which is undesirable, suffering. So once we look at that, we look into the source of that suffering, and that's a grasping at the true existence of a self-entity, and we must establish then the corresponding antidote to uproot that, which is the wisdom of selflessness. Now, in order to do that, because if we don't do anything about that, when we're just going to, on the basis of that basic ignorance, we're going to accumulate karmas. And karmas then on the mind stream will continue, ripen into future suffering continuously. So, therefore, this establishing of a wisdom which can cognize emptiness directly is absolutely necessary. But to have the discipline of mind, the penetration of mind, to be able to do that, meditative concentration is absolutely essential. And therefore, this establishing of meditative concentration in the form of mental serenity, in this case, is very, very important.
가서 지난 샘싱들 지금 누바치부 요때 이내다 너무 샘데베 가서 누바치를 팀하도 토르데 추 토르데게지 다 추토르데게인데 지금 조사를 찍갈 수가 이나 아니 추도 숙치부 쉬우죠 봐 보다 지난 시절 샘게 누바데 추아직도 찍잖아 지체원도 된다 지제도 된게 생스 차고도 와
And so this is based on the kind of reality of the mind itself, that the mind is that which has really limitless potential, but we are flailing around at the moment with the kind of inability to really gather the full potential of our minds, because our attentions are scattered and they have no power to penetrate into what we're focused on because of that dissipation of the attention, of the focus. And so what meditative concentration specifically does is to really gather that particular dissipated or scattered focus into a single pointedness that has the ability then to really penetrate into the subject at hand.
답변은 샘내답지에들라 답간자지 미바지가 내답지에 답간자지 내답지에 답간자지 거서도 예방가봉 두세게 때문에 다 샘내답지 다 가서 주변에 시죠 다 샘내답지 되고 헛가스 때 무슨 내두고 말아 다 콜레다 검지까지 집에 주게는 코피 다다다다다다다다 줘야 준거도 와 근데 맞다 샘내답 본이버 수바 시방 뭐가 죽었다 그거보다 좋고 됐다 드레스는 딱 샘기 내자데 땜다 삐다다다다다다 좋아해서다 그베 레온도 누구 신의 더 샤워 받아
And so in order to both address the issue of a mind like starting like this at the outset, and then being able to address the potential of that mind at the same time, in order putting 9 different stages in order to show how the mind can progress from the basic ability just to find an object, focus on that object, and then to be able to maintain and sustain that focus to be able to reach a point where we have this balanced placement of effortless focus on an object. And so this is a case of something that is not just a matter of hope on our part, that if we sit and focus on something that somehow we're going to reach meditative serenity. No, we need to really rely on the greatest aid to that, and that is the power of habituation. And through establishing, first of all, addressing the 5 major faults through the 8 antidotes which we covered last week, and then really relying on continuous habituation to the object, of really again and again bringing the mind and the attention back to your object of focus, so that there is this quality of increased stability, of being able to sustain focus on what your desired object is, to the point that you become more and more stable until you reach this meditative serenity.
다디 제베갑래 아니 초사집장 수게 지부착 요래 아니 가서 데데리 아니 저기 셴네 천지 상화시 니엘라 아니 저 초사집장이 잠 뭐죠 봐 임바이나 아니 셴네 천지 상화시 도두고 요 말에 다디 임바인자 디 용하엘레 아니 가서라 다 간자 지게 저 가서래 조회 최주고 냐면테 수게 지부 수착 요래.
And so that's in conjunction with establishing all the necessary conducive conditions for entering into the practice of meditative concentration to develop meditative serenity. We also need to engage in the practices of accumulation of merit and the purification of negativities. And so this is in order to really facilitate, to empower us in our practice of meditative concentration. And it's a very essential component of the practice of developing meditative serenity.
다 소사집장 제저 다 소사집장이 개체 뭐저도 다 배는 남주 말서 다들 조회 최주고 냠내디 어디 제전다 가서 내가 지도 자원에 전다 되게 그가 지금 잠어서야 되게 그가 지금 가서다 가서다 근데 산제 고바도 돈이 더 베셔 되고 돈이 더 베셔 된발라 그다고 지금 용할라 아니 땡에서 나 탑면도 들리저 땡에서 줄에 개바 지금 있어 뒤에도 아니 배다 소사집 자체에 좀 물어봤다 아니 지금 로티다 저도 아니 소사집 자체에 다 간자 지금 가서다 간자 지금 내가 지다 저다 지금 소소 대사대 장마서 안에 저는 아니 장마서 아니 지금 디파트 디파 자기 요상사 아니 다가는 저 고수도 때다 때다 보니 요바이나 다 때는 제스 제전 고수도 지금 나도 소요 삼사체 아니 때는 저가 요마 보고 배제만 셔봐서 저가 되게 대샤 어떻게
And so this may be done, this process of the accumulation of merit and the purification of negativities can be done in conjunction with what are known as the 6 preliminary practices prior to sitting for your session. And so this, as you know, includes cleaning one's place of practice and arranging pure offerings, etc., representations of the body, speech and mind of the Buddha. So here, like for example, you can really motivate initially for whilst engaging in these preliminary practices to, of course, aim to again is the state of enlightenment itself for the benefit of all sentient beings, of course, knowing how absolutely essential the cultivation of wisdom is in that process, and then placing the meditative stabilization, meditative concentration as a very essential component of establishing that wisdom. And so you can see the place of meditative concentration, putting that into your motivation from the outset. Then, in the course of, say, the purification can be done in conjunction with the actual sweeping and dusting of your place of practice, where you are not just dusting dust, but cleaning away your negativities. So the purification aspect, and then the accumulation of merit in establishing pure offerings on your altar and the best possible representations of the body, speech and mind of the Buddha. Of course, and in doing so, you invoke the blessings of the Buddha's body, speech and mind, in doing so and accumulating the side of merit in that way. And so to then to really specialize your particular intention of purifying negativities and obscurations in general in doing this, and in particular the obscurations and negativities, obscurations to your establishing meditative serenity. And in particular, when you are invoking the blessings, of course, to be able to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and in particular, in doing so, to cultivate the perfect meditative serenity.
아니 되네 지가서 되네 라다 지금 가서 대대와로 그다 소소가 막 냠리 지사 대행가는 봐고 아니 그 전에 아니 지금 꼴로주 로다 계속 개발진 말이다 심지어 탐색도 산지 고마 도바 책이 있어 아니 뒤에도 다 지금 가서 돈이 좀 싫어 맞은 탐도 뒤에도 아니 땡에서 맞은 탐도 근데 맞아 뒤에도 땡에서 냠리 지금 삼삼천은 어떻게 됐어
Then, then we sit at our place of practice, and of course, in a way in which we are comfortable, and then again generate our motivation, like including special generation of bodhicitta to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all the sentient beings, and knowing how, in order to do that, I need to be able to really develop meditative serenity. So in particular, I'm kind of deliberately focusing on that in this session.
What did this colon and Jigga Rangi doing the and Tangos set up. Lamachula Kadu, you want to sing and Swashin set that single tea and did the war and getting Lama, Tobashaja Tuba, what did I set up? And it did that the Casoda did and it did Rangi Tijazari Lamala and the children went to Lama to the Kodi Yoga. And it then because of the Swashin tea, the Zoe Utola and the Casoda. And Jawdo Chana, Yamichilla, Lama to Kodi Yoga, and Yala, Jitu Jabala, and the Casoda and Jachi Lamatica. Yola, and the Casoda, Jitu Jabella, Samotaju Lamatica, Kodi, or some such. And the jam de la Damoto, Katam, that swashing of Yovadisha, and the Casoda, and Katam Shubaba, Katam Nava, Katam Lamipik Lamas, to get Kodi Yos of the year. And the Dula Dada, and the Katam Sama, and the Jambula Mazunga Chibuk. That Casata, what that, so you bet that, and Casata, Casata, Lamana to Kodi Yos, some check. And then the Shamtin, that you want, and Casota, Judicial. That the Judici happened because of the Judici some at the bottom. Then show the Chicheta and to go last of a Lamecu and the Shamtel Juju, then the natural Lame, then on the cost of the Casaka Sanjaton, then the Jaju Jansen Papa, Jansen Jaju Simmer, Jansen Papa Soba, then Yana touch over because of that Ranja touch over, then near to. Then and then Casota and the power card of Chojo so much, but then it's so much on the battle shoes of social setup.
So that in this meditative session that's being described here, that following our motivation, and then we also establish the merit field in the space all around us, as according to the Lam Rim tradition, that's as described in the Guru Puja, and that's here we have in the center our own root Guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, and then all around. In front of the main figure at the center is our own close teachers or kind of root gurus and close teachers, and then in the spaces around, then in the center, like it's appearing behind in the form of the merit field, is the kind of gurus related to Vajradhara and the consecrated practices lineage, and all then on the right and left, all the gurus related to starting with Maitreya and the extensive practices lineage, and then Manjushri and the profound view lineage, and then around those also the different subsections of the Kadampa lineage, including towards the end the lineage of the new Kadampas, or the Geluk lineage, with the Lama Tsongkhapa at the head, And then in the space then just below the close lineage lamas, etc., or one's own teachers, then we have the grouping of the different tantric sets, starting with highest yoga tantric deities, or Yamantaka, Chakrasamvara, and Guhya Samaja, etc., Kalachakra, and so on. And then the yoga gurus, the Charya, and then the Kriya tantric group. And below them, then we have the all the Buddhas related to the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon in their grouping, in their set. And then below them, the Bodhisattva, the Arya Bodhisattvas, and then the Arhats, then the hearers, the Dakas and Dakinis, and then finally the grouping of the Dharma protectors. So you have the entire merit field, and so you're invoking the merit field in your motivation, in your practice.
아니 랑게 아니 초 랑다 다 랑 타고 돼 심제 탐제 요 삼제 랑다 랑 타고 심제 탐제게 초신을 미베 대봐 뭐봐 다 되대 지 직접 초신 랑게 아니 베 가서도 랑나 제외 권에다 마 지 가서다 시대겠지 베 제외 권에다 간제 초신 대대 같이 조신 권에다 지 가서도 다 되라 페바 주비에서 다 간제 지 제외 권에 봐 시대겠지
And so then all around us are all sentient beings, all kind mother sentient beings who also, like oneself, is really regarding the merit field with a mind filled with faith. And that from the merit field themselves, they are also have this aspect of absolute love, of this readiness to benefit all.
어디 되지? 아니 소신 대다게 아니 다 가서도 소신 대다게 다 지워 저바 투가홍 아니 와다 투가홍래 아니 왜세 빠도 매버 트레네 아니 다 가서도 다 저기 란싱이 내나 다 가져 저기 산지의 시간에 20바 젠타네 아니 소신 대다를 팀소 섭섭다 소신 대다데 뭐서마다 20바 슈바치 이 섭섭자
And all the figures in the merit field are marked with Om at the crown, A at the throat, and Hung at the heart center. And from that Hung then emanates these countless rays of light, entering into the Buddha fields and inviting forth the wisdom beings, which come and absorb into the figures in the merit field.
어디 되지 다 되지 다 초기 시대에 무슨 말 요소도 어디 안 되라 다 지금 먼저 다 초사 진짜 야라도 매제대 제법이.
And so then in order again to continue the process of accumulation of merit and purification of negativity, we offer the seven-limbed prayer practice and a mandala offering to the now fully consecrated or fully actualized merit field.
어때? 야라도 매제대 제법이. 야라도 매제대 제법이. 아니 데 가서 다 간제 지금 가서도 다 소소 귤 아니 지 가서도 다 간제 그래 야라도 매제대 제법이 어때? 아니 데네 다 랑기 자웰라메 로다 자웰라마 다 순대 제제네 다 간제 지금 아니 자 가서도 다 간제 지금 순대 제네 다 간제 지금 안다 지금 랍소스 다 간제 순대 제발라 되네 안 자웰라마 되네 랑전 니버지 준 랑기 지보 거돌
And so then also we again focus on the main figure at the center of the merit field, which is our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, and we make supplication and ask for the Buddha's, the guru's, our root guru's blessing, with result that our root guru emanates a replica body, which comes to sit at the crown of our heads.
아니 되네 다 랑게 선대잖아 자외 라마게 아니 배 나라 소소라다 지금 잡조도 로바제베 주도는 소신 나라 선대제네 선대제다 니에게다 다 부스기로다 소소기다 자 지금 로마텔라 부텔라 아니 산제 공바토에 되바지기도 아니 캐나 쪽에는 다 지금 라브로치스 아니 기체도 아니 배 아니 지금 셴네 되바지기도 아니 셴네게 땡게 지게는 바체탐제 시와 튠제 말려 잡아 지금 라브로스
And so then this our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni on the crown of our heads sitting and facing, like us, the merit field, is then, as it were, our advocate who is addressing the merit field on our behalf to ask the merit field for their blessing, for their support, for this my child who desires to attain the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, who is very devoted to that, who is in the process of wanting to really develop the mind of mental meditative serenity. And so please do bless this practitioner, this child, to be able to eradicate all the obstacles to the development of that meditative serenity, and to be able to establish all the necessary conditions to be able to perfect the mind of meditative serenity. And so as a result of that kind of supplication, then the merit field again respond by emanating really countless rays of powerful light, which kind of permeate through myself and all the other sentient beings all around. And then the first of the wave of light, as it were, is very white, kind of purifying, and that we feel how that all negativities in general and obscurations in general are purified by this light, and in particular all the negativities and obscurations to the development of meditative serenity are purified. And we have the certainty that not only is our whole system now cleansed, as it were, of all obstacles, but also that we have every possible conducive condition to be able to perfect meditative serenity.
And so the Jabalatan and do the doors, Nanga Imbala doors, Cebu Shachu Shavachita, more than that goes to Yunda, number 2 in Nabachata, Mahachun and Rangeta, Chita, Sanjay Komatoria, Kabatuya, but then as a Kevin, you were Kiwaja Shasu, some such. And
then we make the second supplication is made on our behalf, and again the 5 colored nectar lights emanate from the heart centers of all the figures in the merit field. Again, this time with the golden light predominant, and that in permeating through our crowns and the crowns of all other sentient beings, we are endowed with all the necessary qualities of the Buddha's body, speech and mind, because this is in essence what that golden light is. In actuality and in nature, it's a golden light. In actuality, it's representative of the enlightened qualities of body, speech and mind. And so in permeating into us, it also endows us with the potential to quickly attain the qualities of a Buddha's body, speech and mind, and in particular to be able to attain the state of meditative serenity. So then we begin the process of the dissolution of the merit field. And so here this begins the sort of like, the kind of like how each line of the merit field dissolves into the one above it. So we have the Dharma protector line, dissolving into the Dakas, into the Dakinis, into the Arhats, into the Bodhisattvas, into the 1,000 Buddhas, into the different sets of the tantric lineages and so on. And then we have the dissolution of the different Kadampa subsets, like the into the different leaders of those particular subgroups, into the new Kadampas, leaving into and then the different all the lamas associated or connected with the extensive practices lineage dissolve into the named or head guru of that lineage, which is Lord Maitreya, and then all the gurus associated with the profound view lineage, again dissolving gradually into the top figure there, which is Manjushri, and then all of the consecrated practices lineage dissolving into the main figure there, which is Vajradhara. And so all the other root and lineage gurus, our own gurus, etc., and then also dissolving into the main figure, which is our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. And so through the process of the dissolution of the merit field, we end up finally with the 5 main figures remaining. And so again, from the figures all in front of the central figure of our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, all of the different levels of the merit field, from the Dharma protectors all the way up to our own teachers, our own direct and indirect lineage gurus, all absorb into, dissolve into our main root guru in that grouping, so that we have one figure there of left of our root guru in his own form, and then of course to the left and right and behind the main figure of our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, we have the remaining figures of Maitreya, Manjushri and Vajradhara, leaving the 5 figures. So again, we make a supplication, offer the 7 limb prayers and mandala And thereafter we visualize that the figures of the Maitreya and then Manjushri and then Vajradhara dissolve into the central figure of our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. And finally, the last of those 5 figures, our own root guru, again, it comes to abide at the heart of the central figure, so that we're now left with just the one figure in the merit field. And so then we again make the invocation for this last remaining figure in the merit field to come to our crown. And then we make the supplication prayer, O glorious and precious root guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. Of course, we have our own root guru here on our crown, and so this figure comes to the crown and absorbs into that figure on our crown.
What is that? Then I lose because the Yala to maintain that Cheva Puyang for such a chat. What that the legend can't teacher and then so pursue the Tavi teacher to what teacher to the chat. What the legend and then that the Tandaranga Chivo you that Lama the Takan that the Tomashaja to what they and more and the teacher Lama Nama Tomashaja too much. That then they toba dene rangda nibachi what the toba dene more than languages of number to measure to much sabota on that day to Susanja time check tani in subject tani and that and Yala to maintain that Java to Tosa to Chanche and then and Jakazada at the Kazoda and that subject under the Sanja Kubato and the Kazoda, then it's a much of the Tamado, then there's a thing as a Kiela and Jimmy Laptus, then as a Kiela, Pacheka in the Shiwata, Tunjaka to Jimmy Laptus, water, Sunday and now to see Patrachi Chen, to see Patrachi Chen and that to Tomato to my house and go to the Josu something, what I never should Josu something. And then the name Tobatene, Randa Nibachita, doing the journey. That is the thing is a commitment doing the that doing the attack as a means of the theatre, doing the but I had a new way to wait in color, use of the And so now we have the figure of our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha on our crown. And so we have this very strong certainty of this figure on our crown as representative of all the Buddhas of the 3 times. And we make again the process of purification and the accumulation of merit through the offering of the 7-limbed prayer practice and the offering of mandala. And that here in particular we make the strong supplication to be able to please look after me until I attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings, and in particular to be supportive, please, in every way to my being able to perfect a meditative serenity, to eradicate all obstacles that might get in the way of my being able to do that. And we engage that with using the purifying nectar light meditation again at that point. And so we really have this sense of being absolutely in the perfect position to be able to accomplish a meditative serenity. Again, and then we visualize that the figure on our crown, our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, emanates a replica body which comes into the space in front of us at eye level, and it's in the nature of clear light.
And so this then, again, trying to make that figure as small as possible, that becomes our object of meditation in the course of developing meditative serenity. So that there are two types of the ringtone, the two types of kind of a distance of being able to establish the object of meditation. One is that it's in the space as just been described at eye level, and another can be described as having at the level of the navel, where so the object is at that height, I suppose. Yeah. So this is in the context of it can have an influence in how much laxity and excitement might be present or might be avoided in choosing that height of object. And so it said, for example, if mental excitement is prevalent in our meditation, and then it's better to our object of meditation should be at the level of the navel. And if laxity is our problem, then the object of meditation is at eye level. And so this probably comes from the experience of yogis and meditators themselves, to understand that if the object is too high, then it's going to lead to mental excitement. If too low, mental laxity.
and set up and tell and chova puje that rang dibati jaya and kusung to get love till then and rangi semi hang taken the so that surgeon to buy kaso ko to ni mu so le la mu mi kwa kan to ye so and so the sempe tang sho jo lang sho de ko le la wo ji je to mu do.
So this kind of a preliminary to setting the mind on the object of focus for the purpose of developing meditative serenity is really very, very important, because it really it certainly facilitates the intention of what you're going to do by engaging in the preliminary practices of the accumulation of merit, and the purification of obstacle and negativity, especially as what's in the context of what's being described, the visualization of the merit field and the making of the purifying or invoking the merit field to facilitate the purification of negativity and the blessing of qualities of body, speech and mind, etc. It sort of sets you up for a much more intensive session of meditative serenity, of developing meditative serenity, and rather than just sitting down and getting straight into it, because that's only facilitating kind of the natural way your mind is anyway, which is scattered. And so it's kind of like it's in a way to it's exactly what it says it is. It's a preliminary, isn't it, to the actual session itself. So that's what it does. It creates the facilities. To the facility to be able to enhance that actual session.
Yeah. What is get what the gom jaila or that do mango saludo sometimes maybe get and dilatena gom jaya gom mushi jaila, never do shuk cha yon to each. Never shuk cha to you.
And so to also understand that, don't think that, this kind of a meditation like this and this kind of long drawn out preliminaries takes up a lot of time. We shouldn't think like that. We should really think that this is so important, You're actually really acknowledging and becoming aware of just how important your actual session time is. And so you're ensuring that you're going to really be able to, that session is going to fulfill its potential each time by taking the time to do the purification and the accumulation of merit activities. So that's in the course of whatever spiritual activity we're engaged in, the study of the Dharma, the practice of the Dharma, we should also really ensure that there are the activities of accumulation of merit and the purification of negativity factored into those practices and those studies, in order again to get quality practice, quality study.
그래서 가서 최고 롭존 제와이네 샘시라 뒤마도 최고 내서 망고 심바이네 샘시라 뒤마도 가리견처럼 어떻게 당겨요 말이야. 그래서 소사 집자 당겨요 말이야.
And so that if we have studied quite a lot, meditated quite a lot, and still we can't feel that there's really any kind of control, any subduing of our mind, then the finger must point at the lack of purification, the lack of accumulation of merit, to be able to really ensure that is the case. So there's something incomplete there, isn't there?
지금 가서는 헛가라 지금 최고 롭존 도와서 제와이네 남장 지금 냠내야고 제도에다 같이 용되기도 와. 아니 다른 세다른 소사지자 매번에 청가마도 봐 소사지자 수첩을 제와대 그 뉴도 신도에 심바대 뉴도 샘도에를 편조해 주 용되기도 와. 그 유매만은 주매만 그 때문에 교육 많이 줘야 돼.
And so we may observe some people who really start their Dharma career, as it were, in study or practice, and seem to make huge strides very quickly, and they can really study very well, meditate really well, and it seems to come naturally and automatically to them. But this is not the case. Even if they aren't observed to be engaging in practices of accumulation of merit and purification of negativity in this life, you can be sure that they have engaged in a great deal of such practices in previous lives, because of course there's nothing that arises causelessly, and so this facilitating of their practice in this life has been started in previous lives.
Today in Bayzata Marazo Chukulopjong Jan Guru Buchiba so same Duma do it, same chick Jama do it, Yamna Yapuja what dear quote Jumse Yanda just some time I know Sosa Matawa, the same chatting.
Perhaps if we have observed ourselves over having studied for a long time, meditated for a long time, practiced for a long time, but yet don't seem to see the results that we were hoping for, yet if we really are honestly analyzing, we need to conclude that there is insufficient purification of negativity, insufficient accumulation of positive energy and merit to support our practice, etc.
돌려가지고 독산의 시험은 간사스는 최근 디바사이는가 참고도 봐. 최신발할 때는 디바테바사이 되는 용어되기도 봐. 그래서 그 당근 용어로 봐야. 편주 잡아지 손도 뇌대에 용어되기도 봐.
And so it may be the case that when we are trying to train the mind in Dharma through practice and study and so on, but at the same time we are continuing to accumulate negativity as well, and that is going to mitigate against our success. So it can be the case that that those people who seem to be really into the Dharma, yet it seems to just foster sometimes a jealousy over others who seem to be making more progress than they are on the spiritual path, or they have these arguments over different Dharma traditions where there's this competitiveness going on, or pride in what they know and what everybody else doesn't know. And so your actual Dharma practice is only facilitating the cultivation of your own mental affliction. And so that's the kind of like what's known as Dharma, your Dharma not becoming your path. And that and here the insufficiency is a lack of accumulation of positive energy merit, and the lack of purification of negativity. So we make these kind of like aspirational prayers, that our life may be continue in harmony with the Dharma, that Dharma becomes our path, that path is an uninterrupted path. And so this is something that we want, we aspire for, we want, and so we should ensure that we are actually facilitating that through our own practices.
What I did is make by John, make by and make by the and Chemata, that make by the Chemata, and Can't Chung set up, and Dia and Chicasoleta, we're trotting chicks, and those GT teach. Those GT sort of we're trotting it. What I did set that to get away.
So the actual object then is the figure of the Buddha, and as small as we can make it, and it is in the nature of light, but also has weight to it. It should have some sense of weight.
Because on the GTT, you know, lot of the nature that they care what you said, we're trying to what we're trotting it down, we're trotting it to get you one more down.
And so they describe the actual object as having a weight, because that facilitates the ability to place one's attention on that. Whereas if it's just in the nature of light itself, and therefore light, weightless, it's that may lead to kind of a very easily dissipated attention.
What I did that did use and what in the that is and Tango Deva Kala and to Takaji Tang Tundu and Tanka Jama Tundu stage. And then nature them that them to using the diet.
And according to the advice that when engaged in the cultivation of meditative serenity, you begin at the outset with short sessions, but frequent sessions, short and many sessions, and then gradually you reduce the number of sessions but increase the length of those sessions.
What did it and got to continue German Bosser. In a yada, the Bazalatella and Chicasolata, that Tunzam Tivale, and 가서도 다 시내게 아니 지 폐다 대대 삼로 양스 다에 아니 대대 거도 가자 다 지금 범데 모토네 자다 소소고 지금 가서도 지 찹상을 줘야다 되게 됐고 내줄로 가라 지 에는 칼라사에다 찹상 줘야다 아니 고에도 거 재미 뒤수 폐 채와 지금 아니 지금 답변은 시내 문에 두고 지나 네가 지금 초중에 되게 좀 쉬어져서 그냥 초 채와이나 그 용거에서 말이다 그 시내 뭐 두고 봐도 초 정도 봐이나 그 지금 쌤 때문에 야보전 제도가 있나 통계 야보 상황이나 그러니까 다워 두스나 쪽두고를 쓰고도 와. 다워 두다가 이제 로직스나를 쪽두고 있어 와.
And so then one begins at the outset, again with these short sessions, but that frequently. And at the beginning also, that if one has clarity in relation to the object of focus at the outset, that's very good. But if it's not clear, one shouldn't strive too much for clarity at the outset, because it's more important to gain a sense of being fixed on the object, to really fix the mind on the object. Then with time, clarity will come. Because it said if one is striving too much for clarity at the beginning, that can lead to distraction more easily. So at the outset, just having the focus on the object is the most crucial thing. And then of course, with the habituation and the stability comes, and then one can work at improving how one actually perceives the object. And then also between the sessions. So again, between the sessions, one should be careful that the mind does not become scattered, that there is still this sense of control of one's attention. So one's reflecting on, for example, the benefits of meditative serenity and other related topics. And this is aside from, of course, when you have to perhaps prepare food or time for sleep. But we're talking about somebody who's seriously trying to practice, cultivate meditative serenity. And if all the conditions are there and they are very determined in what they're doing, it said that it can be cultivated in 6 months or 1 year. So, according to some accounts, yes, 6 months they say, where if all the external conditions are correct, that it is possible. But of course, the main condition is one's own mind. Again, that says if you haven't got that pacified, then it's going to take a lot longer than that.
Yeah, because that gets you the Jembata Shishimi Yapuchue and Jingo Yomayo, because of the never near to you. And me by the temperature net to yet, Rokasata, Tanga Jeba said, Chidan Jig, Chugolum Jeba, Jeba Kitty Shiguma, Tanga Jeba said, Miguala, same Shayeti, and young Johnson, Tama Jebas chatting to Tama Jebas Jola. But what Shenego they call Tama Jebas. Tama Jebas said, Miguala, same neity, young Sona, and Tama Jebas chatting to one thing, then things of what Tim Casola. Same dinner, and it's got to go to in a lot of cha chawa zamaze, and a chawa there, and a bear, because of the Ngata temperature. Ngata temperature, they're good. What the shop.
So, of course, the most important factors in really establishing the conducive mental conditions for meditative serenity are the cultivation of mindfulness and vigilance. And this is so important. This is in the context also of that fault of, where it says the fault of forgetting the object. And so that's simply like losing the instruction, or forgetting the instruction. And that here that's synonymous with kind of losing the object. And so it's also how that object should appear. So it's not just the appearance of that object in one's mind, but that having a certain intensity with regard to how we focus on that and maintain that focus.
이제 세자당 그거는 지금서도 지금 셈대 내대와 있네. 셈대 내절에 내대와 있네. 아니 지금 세자당 당자시랑 매와 있나? 아니고 지와스 레오 다된 것도 와. 셈 내고 내대요. 얘는 세자 매 되게 당자 매 되겠지.
So it's because it's saying that in the course of the the different stages, the different 9 stages of placement, that one needs to sustain both the clarity and the intensity of focus on the object, because where there's any shortcoming in clarity and intensity, then that allows in laxity and excitement.
다 세자다 당자 요바 있네. 다디 지와라 바소를 찾대도. 다 세자다 당자 요바자 셈내바자. 세자다 당자 요바 이바 있네. 야 세자다 당자데 가서데 데게 가서데 다 미괴 칼라 지코서 진다 나다 데바지. 담딩에 와치 나다 데바지 매바이나. 야 가서다 지와 참모스기도. 지와 참모스. 다 망고지게 지와 참모도 곰라. 와다 셈내유 쟁거요. 세자 요래 당자 요래 이래 딱 나다 된 맞지 매와 인자 그거 신의 교제 되기도
And so that in that sort of instruction or explanation refers to the avoidance of coarse laxity, coarse excitement. But then when you're dealing with the more subtle levels of laxity in particular, that there may be that level of clarity with regard to the object, a level of stability in relation to the object, but one needs to also have a sort of a more of a strict intensity to the object, because without that then it may appear like you are meditating fine. You may be aware in your own mind that things are fine in regard to the focus, but you are in danger of your focus being infected by subtle laxity.
딱 이제 다 되게가 지금 돈에 뭐 최초에다 가고 있는데 이내다 지금 내줘봐 소소소게 지금 대시 때네 아니 지금 다디 오다 지원리샤 다디 고바리샤스는 뭐 최초에지 다 대시 되게 때부 쉬고 거고 있어요 전바다 시시 되게 쉬고지 때부치
And so that even to try to find the words that to explain these mental experiences is quite difficult, and in fact, it really is the sort of understanding that one can only gain through experience, through actually going through it, like the great meditators or yogis, through their own experience, become highly aware internally and in a very subtle way with regard to what is interfering with their meditation, and being able to apply the necessary antidote or adjustment when necessary. And in doing so, they have always emphasized the crucial importance of mindfulness and vigilance.
다들 세자다 당자 요바 대자 마세 아니 대 담팅 와서 지금 나다 대바치 세자다 당자다 나다 대바치 미국에가 나다 대바치 거기 있어요.
So there seems to describe this quality with regard to the object of having not just the clarity and not just this stability, but this very kind of strict intensity with regard to one's attitude towards the focus.
배는 뭐죠? 지금 세자도 당자도 미국에 가는 데서 지금 포바 주바 임바다 포바 담보 주바니데 개발인 것도 주바도 와 담보 주에도 곧 개발인 것도 와.
So it's like you have you pick up a mug, but that is the way of holding it is that, like again as demonstrating, with the kind of like you have a tight grip on your mug. And so in the same way, you have this sort of tight grip on your focus, object of focus.
다 지나 이제 러버 주나 그 주도 주바로 와. 그 담보 주와 말고 딱. 그 담보 주는데 그 지금 미과 나다 담ting에 쓰고다.
So it's the idea with this tight grip on one's on the object that one will be able to hold that focus.
다들 미과 갈래 미과 내 세자 당자 여봐. 야 담ting이 매봐. 나도 때만 매봐. 담ting이 갈래 이제 내 때가 그 나도 때만 좀 그러다.
So that then the kind of it's almost a triple quality of clarity and stability, but also that tight grip to be able to hold both those qualities of clarity and stability.
다 이제 저기 땡에 저기 객체시대 양은 지와래. 양은 지와래. 양은 거바리. 거바스데 셈 촌촌에 들어와다. 셈 거바 저기 미국에 가는 내 대버리 거바라고 배트코라 촌 미국에 가는 내그 말이야. 다 지금 가서 미국에 가는 내바는 셈 소리 찍는 착사가 유 소소 가사가 유 되더라 차대 좀 그러다. 그러다. 용거로 왔다. 또 되게 좋은데 어느 거다. 셈 소리 찍는 거 셈 가서다. 지금 가서를 지금 뉴스 좀 매발 창구로 왔다. 나를 매कर 창구로 왔다. 다 토에 그 셈데 매바이나 다 내가 가리어서 토에 셈데 마 시차도 매바 내가 매바 차바이나 야 지외 용화에 내가 요바인서 야 지와 용화에 내가 요바인서 야 지와 차라데도 뭐 쳐봤지네 뭐 쳐봤더네 아니 거기 미국에 셈 내가 때문에 세차 요게 당차 요게 나한테 때문에 용해. 어떤 데에 지가라 용다고 돌아. 담보 편바에 딱. 삼룡이라 어떤 대대체도 같이 있어. 수수 편바에 딱. 아니 관백갑래 아니 강투도게 다다 용다고. 대세게 대지. 이보다 다 대를 제고 있어 와.
So the main obstacles to meditative serenity are these mental laxity and mental excitement, and that one can with regard to excitement, that one may even have a focus on the object with a certain clarity and a certain intensity, but also at the same time the part of the mind is distracted to an object of desire, and that's something that any object of desire. So this is how mental excitement infects one's meditative concentration. And so one has to then pacify that. One has to recognize it, become aware of it, and this is the object, the purpose of mental mindfulness and vigilance, and to draw the mind back to its single object of focus again. So this is kind of pacifying that excitement, the excited element in one's concentration. And as a result of that, though, in the beginning, one may overdo that, and then one can sink into mental laxity. And so this is kind of a dullness that can, in relation to one's object of focus. So here one needs to, again, as it were, brighten the clarity with regard to what we're focusing on. And that may require a brief thinking on the benefits of what we're doing, meditative concentration and so on, just to bring the mind up and to, again, focus on what needs to be focused on. And that, and in this way, one is kind of adjusting coarsely at the beginning, and then never more subtly as one gains more stability and experience.
그래서 유세 통라 아니 강마 맞고 왔다 되게 모든 아니 근데 군에 전에 신의 공부 저기 뒤 봐서라 최세야 잡고 된다 근데 자르서도 막고 같이 저 바시네랑 거기 미과 다들 미과랑 제도 되잖아 왔다 가자 지금 뒤 가서 쪽다면도 최세야 잡았다 저 빌라 편바제도 망부 열어 봐 망부 열어 때 바시네 두배 되나 아니 되게도 막고 같이 내가 그래 되게도 먹어 같이 저 거기 미과랑 좀 어떻게 좀 있어 돼요.
So also, like when one is engaging in the process of developing meditative serenity, one really has to exclusively focus on one's object and that the whole process of concentration itself. And because of that, then even talking about the Dharma or explaining the Dharma is to be avoided at that time. And that's sort of like, although there are many benefits to doing that, at this time one should concentrate just on the job of concentration, and recognize that any sort of other complex mental activity is going to be an obstacle to that. So yeah, this is maybe for when we're retired. we can get into
it. Retired, the mind the
Yes, but then of course when we're retired, we don't know what state of mind we're going to be in.
다 가이나면은 가이나면은 즉 가서도 다 되게 셰바체 저기 점점 더 검정 미바라 좀 되게 개침버려 삼사체 편바라 딱 들이 제투바 쇼 삼사체 좋아.
However, I think we should all try at some stage to try to tame the mind in this way, to develop more meditative concentration, and it's of course to kind of remind ourselves of the benefits of that constantly too.
다다 데리다 디제바다 디제는 아니 되네 다 과다 다 마바 춘조가 나가라 다데 디거서데 다다 뒤에 셋업 셔와 다 또봐 아니 또마데 아니 제자 지볼 제자 지볼 안 지볼데 그래서 뭐라 그랬지 자열라면 너무 또 마셔 유튜브에 아니 마제다라는 니가 거돌지 다나주 니 공자도 지납되기로 어디서 제자자.
And so then, just in the context of the meditating, using the 6 preliminaries at the beginning of this session, we have the Buddha our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha at our crown. And so in the evening, when you've finished your day's sessions, one then absorbs the figure of our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha down through our crown and to rest at our heart center, as we normally do, using that invocation and that visualization. And to have, please hold me, please look after me until I attain the state of enlightenment myself. Make that prayer.
니 배마답제다 남주 이르스 내다는 신내서 안데 가서도 뭐저 양색 뭐 아이 우리를 요소서 뭐예 뭐 가가 저저저 뭐 여러서 예다만 나도 뭐 예다만 여러도 아 이게 되게 코네 그러나 산제 고마워도 저 송송 삼사지에다 안당하지야 샘제 제불람 제체네 야부여래 그래서 라기 신도 차별 롱된 일행이지 아니 가서도 다 남아샤자스기 고대 현재 지금 저 다글 르드 아마샤지다 고리 조수 다가 셈데 아니 가서도 셈데다 신도처럼 셈데 니len제 라마샤자 셈지게는 투데 현지지 괜찮아 아니 다가 셈데 라마샤기도 투도 조수스 다 구도 예매 차소소 오다 야고 시고 조수 셈데 타면 산제 고마 오다 니마들이 니 섭사체 아 투가네 왜서 저 나와다 이다도 들어다 다 라마이라 소가 셈제 탐자를 포에 대다게 동네 가리여 봐이네 동네 되게 봤어 내가 차소서 대자마서 대다가 동네가 잡아 안 라진데 단지 말이 봐 바샤도 잡아 내가 차소 대다 타는 또 마셔도 고추수 선선보다 야고 시고 총수 선선차 아니 안 대다 내 탐제자 아니 지가서도 다베시도 교수다 야고 시고 총수다 심지어 탐제도 돼 니만 데리 쪽도수 썼다 야고 시고 총수 가고 뭐 다들 사바는 문에 가라 대대 제트비 교류 교와쇼 숨고하지 So it'd be very good to just to
run through the details of that particular visualization when we are inviting our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha with the invocation prayer, glorious and precious root guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart, keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of body, speech and mind. So the Guru comes to rest at your heart center, and you've prepared that with the lotus, the sun and moon disc, and then the 8-petaled lotus folds over the figure of our own root Guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha at our heart center, and he's kind of bound there by the Sanskrit syllables of the vowels running in a clockwise direction, the consonants in an anti-clockwise direction, and then thirdly the mantra of dependent arising in a clockwise direction again. So we really have this feeling of the figure of our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha is going to be with us and to look after us and bless us until we attain the state of enlightenment ourselves. And that here also to kind of make that strong invocation from our own side that we will do whatever we can to fulfill our own potential and attain enlightenment. Also then to take the results onto the path, that small reflection of considering our own most subtle wind as the substantial cause and the body of the Buddha at our heart center as the cooperating conditions, and their combination leading to transformation of our own body into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And likewise our own most subtle mind as the substantial cause combining with the mind of the Buddha at our heart center to transform our own mind into an enlightened mind of the Buddha, and really have that feeling of the result having been taken onto the path. We have how wonderful it is. I've attained a state of enlightenment today, right now. Therefore, you send out from your enlightened mind countless rays of light, equal in number to all the sentient beings in existence. And that entering into their crowns, they are purified of all their negativities and obscurations that they've accumulated since beginningless time, and in particular they're completely purified of the insidious nexus of self-cherishing and self-grasping, as well as the imprints and seeds of those minds, and so that their bodies and minds are completely purified, and they themselves spontaneously arise as enlightened beings themselves. And not only that, but all of their places, whether in the hell realms or the hungry spirits or the animals or wherever their abode is, that place is also purified and automatically becomes a Buddha realm. And so one then has the opportunity to completely rejoice. How wonderful! Not only have I attained the state of enlightenment, but I brought to enlightenment all sentient beings, and again fulfilling my goal of benefiting all sentient beings in the best way possible. And so you again rejoice in that, and then make a strong, genuine, sincere prayer to please that this may be manifest as quickly as possible.
아니 대주배초도 소소이 개와 가리 두바이나 믹스에다 배대기 니버게 다 소소 국배는 검자에 되게 개와 가리 두바티 개와 탐제다 아도 되게 개와티 개와티 주변 개와 탐제 다가는 개와 두 소소도 제바간가 안데 유대는 좀 뒤섬에 뭐 또가 팔다서 섭섭섭다.
And also to consider, that our main objective, of course, to attain enlightenment, to benefit all sentient beings, and that all of what we do in order to do that, the virtue that we accumulate, whatever virtue and all the virtue that we accumulate, that it itself lacks any inherent existence, and it's merely imputed by thought.
똥바디 로디 엔 대화장 엔 대외 똥바니
And from that emptiness, arises bliss, and again from that bliss, this emptiness. So we abide in this non-dual bliss and emptiness.
단단한 말아서 좋아스케요 마다 좀 매번 이제 소절 봐. 소소 매번 제가 소절해 돼. 매번 제가 소절해. 돼. 얘네 근데 지금 매번 순지가 제제는 남신나 아니 랑게 돈이 또배 이 시기 대화대 대외 동반적 대도님의 이 시기에 바자샤기로 와. 바자샤기로.
So it's of course we are aware that this is not the actuality for us now. It's we're operating at the level of aspiration and imagination, but we are without have no doubt that we are laying down the positive imprints for this to actualize, where we will be able to abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness at some stage. Sorry, I haven't got much done today at all.
다 이네 다 되게 마티자 다들 세다 민자 와서도 이네 다 디꾸디 다 꾸디다 니 디나도 숨 디나도 시 디나도 이제 셰자면 와다 민도 자다 쳐고 주르다 이네 다도 다 잡으래 다 되게 로와 다 이네 개치도 뭐좀 검지 잡아 이나 그래서 대고도 다 돼서 다 지금 제가 소주로 이제 다 소소 냠요 요마다 다 카톡 받셔야 되라.
So that of course I have every respect for the detail that's involved in these 9 stages of meditation and so on, and that there's a great deal more that could be said, and it's all very precious information. But also I feel that it's more of a case of, on the one hand, gaining the or using the kind of like the outline as is presented here in order to fill in all the necessary detail related to each of the stages, based on one's own experience, because it seems to be it's a very personal thing to develop a kind of meditative concentration. One has to become aware of the particular adjustments that one must make in order to counteract the particular levels of laxity, excitement, etc. in one's own continuum. And I can't speak from experience. I don't have that experience, can I say?
Empty mouth.
It's empty talk. So maybe your experience is better and superior to mine in this regard. So we'll leave it there for today.
다 이제 제네랑 두개 모두 다 주스 매고 이거네 다 코칭 세트 안 되는 초사 지자체 아니 저 가서도 저 중간에 남은 차단 연대시 좀 맞서지 마 삼부당제 남은 샤곰지 제 되게 저는 되게 제 아니 마샤 샤곰지 제다 라 샤곰 마제도 되는 이게 땡에진 카돌리도네 땡에진 도스콤 다 되게 신이 되는 마도서 거는 뒤에서 받자도 진짜 미게 다 땡에진 카돌리도네 땡에진 도스콤 근데 셰라 카돌도 돈도 셰라 도스콤 뭐다 되게 제자 아니 다들 소시세도 되다다 아니 라마 그래서 라는 인가 거도 수다 되게 그거 삼모다 니마 지라 라면 차사 저 삼모 땅도 봐이나 삼모 땅도 봐는 뱀스 야고요 해나.
And so, of course, we may not be able to set aside the time to have a really good go at developing meditative concentration as is described here. But I would really encourage you to kind of keep your hand in there, so to speak, in the context or in conjunction with the continuous process of accumulating merit and purifying of negativities. And that this is done really well in the course of trying to include a glance meditation on all the different subjects of the graduated path daily. Maybe you can use a prayer like the foundation of all qualities, and then go through the different stages of the different subject matter related to the Lam Rim, and when you get to the topic of meditative concentration, just pause and try and do a little bit of it yourself, and maybe invoking the purifying nectar light meditation to kind of clear the way for that, and then from that, when you get to the kind of other subjects like wisdom, again, to focus a little bit on wisdom and reflect on that as well, and in this way try to cover all the topics of the graduated path on a daily basis, and so this is very highly recommended.
what that is ni ma cha cha lam rim ji in the komshi ji cha wa na ta ni ma ji mun retard che de na lam rim ge ba sam ta ne ko le la ba cha ko tak ta ko cha tak ta ka so la ta nyam nu to sa cha wa.
So it'll be really good then for when you retire, you see, that you have done the groundwork on the graduated path, and then we be able to deal with it in much more extensively when you're retired, and because you've got that experience under your belt.
Yeah, and ko gyu ji cha cha de ko ji de samlo de mangbo ji gyu cha cha de and ko jama ji ko ge ba de ge ne ko de na ju ji sha ma de ba je ne de ko ge de so so la ba yo wa ge de so so la ba yo.
And so then, like, you know, you have the sort of such a comprehensive overview of the entire path that you can deal with each of the topics in greater, more extensive detail or less extensive detail, as the case may be, whatever is necessary. So you have that sort of flexibility when you're studying it, when you're meditating on it, when you have familiarity.
So
it's great. So in the morning you engage in a kind of a topic like that, backed by such experience, and then if you should die in the evening, then you have everything covered. You know, you've got a whole Lam Rim covered, nothing to worry about. No worries. Do the Lam Rim in the morning and die in the evening, then good way to go. Good way to go. A library?
Library cupboard,
shelf?
Shelf, yeah, law and shelf na lu shelf ina. So similar competition chayo marwa. Share to your competition. Tatiko, you de shi me so ten and I'm social to some several start you go mate in a count to some time. And to the pachanda sosa to chanche. And to sosa came into one. Sosa to the moon is some little change. And it's because the enjoy the chance of the young type of tower. Because give a budget divided by chance. Goes to you and the children to get to my beauty, Pasha Kemari Shas. What did some of the done? Some of the considered and Jama using when it's Ravina, could not make Jesu. The Lobs of Javas are Pantom to the Lobs of Javas, Namne Ches of Habasharisha. That's what the son of high the Guyus in it. And what's what dropping that you shall look in a quote Jusa such a Sarkashe the Chibina and Jelly Josum to the Konyasio, what you want. You said them at Dashins. That you shall look in Chibina, racing horse. Because you said the Sarkashe Bayina, Hakona, I got the good to them should you. About you message you would quite just by your one. What did that in some of the 70 Lam really use or use search? Did it as a that can matter legal to show your Matena shop, those Aslan, Lambrick Chatan Samata, you did you must call Samatana. Teacher Shapum Solana, to the Chakasam to Gomare. To the Chakasam to Gomare, to the Chakata, and is one.
So what's been spoken of here really is, to try to really generate a more visceral, more feeling quality to our approach. That it's not about just taking a book down from the shelf, reading it, finishing it, and then putting it back on the shelf again. That we have to be very careful not to equate study with practice. That this is when we talk about gaining a sort of the Dharma really gaining a foothold in our own mind, it becoming our path. It's about the process of sitting, engaging in the accumulation of merit, the purification of negativities, like in conjunction with the visualization of like the merit field that's been described, even if it's not very clear for you, still to have faith in the process, really kind of like take hold of that process is very, very important. That to be reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha's body, speech and mind, to be invoking that blessing of those qualities. It's sort of it really is the kind of the living quality of our practice, that it makes a real change for us. It's very, very important. And so again, not to equate just the kind of dry information of the books with the actual juice of the practice. It's very important for us to do that, and that to be able to engage in that on a regular basis is like to have a consistent commitment and a consistent practice is so important. And so it's like again, it's equating it to riding a horse. It's very scary maybe at the beginning, difficult at the beginning, very unsteady at the beginning, but once you've done it several times, it becomes like second nature. You become one with the horse. It's very important to gain that sort of feeling about the Dharma, that it is your life, and that's it's kind of like really important to understand that, even though now we are working, we have little time, of course, to do that. But even if you dedicate to a glance meditation on the Lam Rim on a daily basis, using the foundation of all good qualities, you can do that maybe over the course of half an hour. It doesn't really take that much time, but it's time that's spent really, really preciously. So we have to kind of like make that our life, make that our commitment as much as we can. So I'll leave it there for now.
다가는 생각을 가서를 다가자 잠물링가 다 녀다 그래 주가 충사 침산에 쳐서 계급 인터내셔널 거기 녀다 그래 좀 연락이 타주지. 그 미세겠다. ninja 다다데 노트 코리아 또 사고를 또 이게 우치도 저 배상도 또 교환되잖아. 또 셈 지가서 시대를 용해다. 그래서 삼을 교환되죠. 즉 잠이 시대에 돌아 즉 판도 제도 것들이 양을 줘야 돼. 지금 뭐 아무런 지에 뭐지. 근데 아직 찾을 수 봐요. what did it say?
And we make our dedication, of course, to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. We also dedicate the positive merit gained here today, so that all the holy beings in the world may live long, and may all obstacles to their good health be removed, and may all their holy wishes be fulfilled, and that all the conflict in the world, from the domestic violence to community problems to international trouble, that all these difficulties may be overcome through peaceful dialogue with mutual respect on both sides. And in particular, we think of like countries like North Korea at the moment, where there's such danger, such trouble, that the leaders of that country may again have their minds somehow transformed into really thinking about the importance of world peace and making adjustments in their policies to ensure that that is the case. And we also dedicate for adequate rainfall and so on, timely rainfall.
근데 초전에 가서도 그 타고 제로 근데 자나숑게 가서 peaceful dialogue 시기도 남기 자나숑게 peaceful dialogue 시기 말아 자나숑 자미숑게 다티 마자나 야고 말에 peaceful dialogue 지우래서
So again, they're saying maybe there's an upside to a kind of a rogue character like in North Korea, where you have like very sort of harsh pronouncements, and that at least it's encouraging China the Chinese government to talk about peaceful dialogue. Something that they're not very used to talking about. You know. So maybe it's introduced peaceful dialogue into their, vocabulary as well for the first time. So we do our Lam Rim dedication prayer. From my two collections, vastest space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by a strong force of compassion, may I clear darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I hold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal the treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. May even this greater path to enlightenment completed, due to wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings eliminate adversity, create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths, never be parted in any of their lives, the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Great treasure of compassion not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception, Sankapa, crown jewel, the sage of land and snows, blessing Drapa at your feet I make requests.